Welcome back, C3 family. Hope everybody's doing really well on this beautiful Monday morning. And we got a jam-packed video for you today. We're going to be going over quite a few things, so make sure you stay around to the very end. But we're going to be going over No Telling Mrs. Janet Yellen and the President's Working Group, Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, as well as going over some Binance FUD news. We'll kind of fill you in what's going on with that, show you some technicals. We'll also be going over the death cross on gold. If you saw our video last night, you could check that out as well. And we're going to be talking about a lot of technicals in the market. So this kind of goes along with it. This is fundamentals kind of that relate to the technicals. So make sure you stick around. We also have another cool little announcement right here over here on decrypt.com. And we have a bunch of NFT and gaming news and projects we'd like to talk to you about, as well as just the general health of the market. So of course, as always, I got all my guys with me. I got Sifu over here on the NFT gaming side. I got the man on the charts, Al, right below me. So with that being said, I think I'm going to pass this over to Al. Let's get started with a little bit of technicals on Bitcoin, and then I'll jump into some news regarding No Telling Mrs. Janet Yellen.
Awesome, Jay. Thanks, my man. Appreciate it. What's good, C3 fam? Hope everyone's having a blessed day. Let's jump into the charts. First things first, where's the market at and where is it heading? So we like to check out CoinGecko. We go through and we can see that there is a disproportionate amount of red compared to green. So we are definitely still in downward movement. You see a lot of big percentages, 26%, 22%. 31% for the week. So lots of bloodshed. Bitcoin itself is down 10% for the week. So we are anticipating probably a little bit more of this. And let's take a look at why. So we brought you guys our total one chart last week. And this is a representation of the total market cap. And as you can see in the market cap, we have been dropping in a channel. And in this channel, you can tell that we're testing the top of the channel. And that's a pivotal point because right here, we're looking for either to break out of the channel or to test it and be rejected and come back down the channel. And depending on what the market cap does here should be fairly indicative on what the rest of the space will do and will follow suit. If the market cap can break out, then it looks like it'll be good for the rest of the crypto space. But let's jump over to Bitcoin and take a look at Bitcoin as its own entity. And we can see that we've had a colorful chart kind of marked up for a little bit on it. And we fell out of our projection, but it looks like we were just a little bit early and we're following suit with the projection now. So same story with Bitcoin. You can tell right here, we are in a channel. This white and orange line right here represent a channel that we've been following and supporting. You can notice that we've just printed a manipulation yellow X right above Bitcoin on the day candles. And so this is not really what we're looking for. This is not a sign of health. This is more a sign of concern, a sign of manipulation, and a sign of possible downward movement. So in the short term, we're looking at Bitcoin to continue to progress downwards, but we are continuing to salivate over these low levels right here. That is when you want to start looking at entering into projects, because normally when you get to these low levels, you have, even in a bear cycle, solid recovery, a recovery of around 30%. So we're still looking for 30% gains in trades up and down, depending on which way the market goes. And this is a trader's paradise. So it's definitely what you want to pay attention to. But also,
Al,
yeah.
Let me jump in and discuss Mrs. Janet Yellen real quick, because nobody can tell what she's yelling or telling about. So I think this is something that correlates to the total market as well as some fundamentals that I wanted to go over before you jump really deep into our
full send, my dude.
Altcoin. All right. So right here, like I said earlier, Mrs. Janet Yellen, never know what she's telling or screaming about. So she's having a meeting today with the president's working financial group to discuss regulations on stable coins. So this is really huge. This is happening today, July 19th. So this is something that we're staying in tune with, as well as they're having the meeting be attended by the Office of the Controller or Comptroller of the Currency. So these are big agencies that are getting involved with crypto. So despite all the bearish technicals that we're seeing, this is a bullish sign. This is regulations coming into crypto is positive. And with that being said, I wanted to show you guys the fear and greed index. So this is over here at c3crypto.com. You can scroll down to the very, very bottom and you can find this index. So we were just at a real low last week at 15. So we're seeing this kind of creep up, and that tells us that there's orders being put into the market and that people are less fearful. And I think they're smarter. They're waiting on the sidelines. Kind of what Al has been telling us all week is to sit on the sidelines and wait for the time to strike. So I just wanted to get that out there and say that to our viewers really quickly. If you wanted to kind of go over some more of your beautiful charts.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to love it because it seems so controversial when the sentiment turns bullish, the charts turn bearish, and vice versa.
Right.
And
what do you do? What do you do?
It's hard to say we're not in a manipulated market, but
right.
You know, if you've been through any of the important programs in life, you'll realize the first step is denial. And when you overcome that and you accept that you're in a manipulated market, you'll start succeeding and you can follow suit with the rest of the steps. All right, guys, all jokes aside, let's get back into it. So one of our other favorite things to peek at is ETH and Bitcoin comparatively, because a lot of people in this space really think that ETH is going to take off, and it absolutely has the potential to, and it could leave Bitcoin in the dust. You know, this adoption phase, nobody knows what to expect and who's going to be the forefront. A lot of us believe Bitcoin will be it. It definitely has the best probability right now, but I think it's anyone's game. And so the ETH supporters are big proponents of ETH taking over. And so for me, I always enjoy looking at Ethereum compared to Bitcoin because that is what's going to represent that. And we are not looking healthy yet. We've had some moments of health, but it looks like Ethereum will continue to go down paired to Bitcoin. So that's kind of not great for alts and a little bit concerning for Bitcoin. It's definitely something to pay attention to, something to keep your eyes on. And, you know, I do, like Jake said, I do believe that the time is near, but I'm not convinced that the time is here. And so that being said, let's talk about some fun things. Let's move over to CoinGecko and play our favorite game. We like to know what you guys are looking at, what you guys are playing with. So we'll go over to Coins, Discover, and look at some of these fun projects. I see Axie Infinity all over the place. And you know what else I've been seeing a lot of is I've been seeing a lot of Chromia, and it would decide to not show up on this refresh. But Axie Infinity and Chromia have been two projects that have really been catching our attention, and they're worth looking into, as well as a project we've mentioned multiple times on this channel, and that's Audio. Audius is going to be the future of entertainment. It is huge. It is a great project. I'm really excited about it. So I would like to start with Audio because it is on clearance. We have blue light specials going on. This is exciting. And so if you're looking at getting into the future of a project, Audio would be definitely one to entertain. And the price points to enter in look like they're around the corner. So looking at Audio, you can see since March, we've had quite the correction. We peaked at an all-time high of about $5. And right now we are struggling to get to $1. So when you look at that chart, What does that tell you? Well, that tells you that we are already generously priced, and there's a good possibility we're going to have a little bit better purchasing power in the very near future. So we've kind of looked at it and TA'd it and come to a conclusion that around the 60 cent would be a pretty solid run will just soar with flying colors. So that's a quick little run through on audio. Axie Infinity has been a hot topic lately, and a lot of people are really excited, and it's easy to tell why, because the project in the end of June went from $3 to the second week of July went to $30. So that is almost a 700% gain, and that constitutes a lot of attention. So I believe that it was hyped a little bit, and a lot of people maybe got a little excited, and that's why it ran up so quickly and so efficiently. But it's still a great project, and it's still something worth looking into. And I think that we're going to have some consolidation entries coming up. I know Jake brought it up on the channel earlier that these are some brilliant buying opportunities right around the 12 to 13.50 range, and then right around the $7 to $8 range. And if you want to play it safe and get a healthy entry, I know that we're looking at putting some positions in around the 11.11, 11.22 range, because it seems to be what was resistance in the past. We are hoping and banking on being support in the future. So fun project to look at. Keep your eyes on Axios and audio. And then also Chromia. This is a newer project that has been making big moves in the space. Let me declutter the chart a little bit. And you can see that we are flirting with our fibs. And right now we are sitting on a 50% retracement from a local high. And I would anticipate that we're probably going to tear back down to our 62% retracement from the local high, which is going to put us around the 18 to 20 cent range. And so right around here would be, once again, is where we are looking for a entry and where we are anticipating a brilliant buying opportunity for a great project making moves in the space. But those are the alts that I'm excited about. Chris, you got anything to compliment on that?
Yeah, actually, sure. Since we're having fun digging into some of the, I guess you can say, funner projects, but so let's actually check that out. Let's give me a sec here. There we go. A little technical issue with my mouse. So, well, why don't we just start right here on audio? You already kind of went through the price points, showed everyone the TA they needed to see, but let's just dive in a little deeper here. And which this is an epic project. I agree that this is definitely the future for music artists here. So if we step in, just take a quick look, we give everyone the freedom to share and listen. So what does that really mean? Is, Audius is a brand new streaming platform built for all musicians, not just those signed to labels. Build a fan base, share your works in progress, and then publish your completed tracks for all the world to hear. Create, grow, monetize. So basically, that's amazing. Just the fact that it's not privy to just someone who has a signed label. You're eliminating the entire competition as far as, oh, I can never get into this marketplace. I can never be sold along this person. Guess what? Now you can. If you are a talented musician or just have any ambition, I'd say this is the way to go. You're going to be able to control, obviously, the passion that you want to deliver. You're going to be able to throw it on a network where you are, rather than just people who know about you based on a fan base or just because you're getting radio play. None of that matters. You upload it here, you can build that. Maybe you're not obviously going to be selling high price like the way, a top selling artist would, but this allows you, this freedom is what I would say allows you to actually earn that. If you put up something quality that fans generally like, all of a sudden, before you know it, you're going to have lots of followers, and all those things are going to come along with it. So yeah, this is a really cool project. We see so much or talk about NFTs, whether you already know about it, which is just huge in the art world itself, that's now streaming into the video gaming world. But, it creates that digital platform for, artists for same thing. They don't really have to worry. You don't have to be the next Picasso or, whatever it is. You put your artwork up on these virtual platforms, gain a following, name your price. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot anyone, just do what I did, come through CoinGecko, just click in, check out their token. You can basically through here, you get everything you want. But you can just start learning more about what it is, check into the protocols, the team careers, check out their white paper if you want to actually really kind of see the blueprint and the roadmap to everything. So yeah, it's something great to look into, and it's awesome that it's kind of not really hurting through these harsh times. So having said that, we're going to go check out Chromia, which sadly wasn't on the chart for my man Al. He's trying to show you guys, but that don't matter because Chromia itself is a cool project. So we're just going to do the same thing. Let's dive in to checking out what Chromia is. So now with this, we'll be jumping back into the gaming token aspect of things, which are pretty huge and upcoming, especially considering like these guys haven't really been tanking as much like everyone else through this hard market. So, what's the community, what's it going to be like when things are, going up, doing amazing for everyone. But let's see what makes Chromia. So they call themselves the relational blockchain platform. It makes sense. That's what they say. But just like anyone, they're trying to make their platform, making it easier for people to build decentralized apps in the real world for a better world. So, this one's all about dApps. But what's cool about it is we scroll down here, you can see some of the games they have going on. This is coming out on Steam. It may already be there. I got to double check that. But that's huge, rather than most of these games are built on their own kind of platforms where they send you to a whole nother kind of website even that you usually have to download and then add everything you need on your extensions as far as MetaMasks to actually play, which is not really a hard thing. But if you have a Steam account, you can just go and play that Alice My Neighbor game and get right in on that. Okay, so back to this. A blockchain is a simple list of transactions, finding anything that requires you to search everything from start to end. A relational database is the tech that powers your social network, your bank, all of your non-trivial applications. So these guys, they're basically going to smash these two together, and this is what you get. And they're hoping to have a much better system, but basically a relational database. Here, they call it the unsung heroes of the web. Let's see what they say. You might not think about them much, but database power is your everyday, your bank, your social network, your web. Relational databases are everywhere, used by 100% of all enterprises for several decades. And then obviously blockchain, is a kind of newer version. We love blockchain, but it can be better, finding information fast, structuring it in a good way, building a large application. A ledger is the wrong tool for the blockchains. Basically, they feel like taking the tried and true kind of web-based power and, I guess you could say a mixture of the new and old to kind of combine that. And so what they want to do is basically, I guess, create a layer so that when you're creating not only dApps, you can create actually a simpler user base for any sort of business when you really get into this. So at the very simplest, you can build games, build your own games that are built right into a blockchain system, which will follow right in through with having a whole NFT basically marketplace. So everything you have is user owned and has a value just as any asset does. So all your collectibles, blah, blah, blah. But so what these guys do though, they've created REL, uniquely productive language, to improve security and productivity even more. We have a created REL, our take on a universal language that is easier to learn and more efficient to work with. So you really start digging into what these guys want to do. It's kind of like they're making it so whatever you exchange, whether it's NFTs on a marketplace platform through gaming, whether you're creating your own dApps and it's just simply for the actual transaction for the users. And then that's the ticker right there though. It's this can apply to transactions between businesses that are out of country, out of state. You know, they don't have to be basically operating in the same space at all. And they're going to make it, you know, these business transactions or exchanges or mergers just possible. And if you look at their backers, just anyone, they have a very decent list of, you know, big people in the game. But yeah, so Chromium is pretty cool. And back to the gaming aspect of it real quick. I'm going to dip out of this one in a second here. So you got right on the bat, you got 4 games you can dip into that are all free to play. This one's like a side scroller where you actually physically mine. You know, it's kind of like Minecraft from a 2D side scroller perspective, but you mine into like the earth in the area and you pull up resources, and they're coins, you know, that kind of govern their system, so you can be a part of all that. It's basically the crypto you earn when you on these early NFT games. You're getting their coins that govern their system, so you can further be a part of everything and help it push forward and, you know, add good ideas to it. But if you want to learn more, just come right here through CoinGecko, and you got everything right up here, all the way up to your white paper once again. And let's just dive into one more here. This one's already on the top of the list. Axie Infinity, very cool. And even though you guys seen the TA, so this literally changed today. These were all in the green the last few days when these had their pumps. But if you look at just their 14-day and their 30-day, those are pretty decent percentages to be up. So I think that says a lot still with the current stasis of the market, why these are even just valid to be looking at. So for anyone who already hasn't been making Axies and purchasing land and playing this game's pretty big. And I'm just going to keep it real quickly, but we're going to go just on a quick overview. These Axie shards, these are the governance tokens, just like I was saying. Basically, these are what you earn in the game by playing it, so you can be a part of it. And then, you know, you have other tokens that you'll stake and reap rewards. But beyond that, let's go to the marketplace. So your Axies are almost like Pokemon. They develop different skills, and then they go into battles for you. Then you can keep playing, but you bring it to a marketplace and sell them. We look at the average price. I wouldn't even say average price. Let's just look at what they're being sold at. So this $302 for this guy right here. Now this just changed. 909, 254, over 1100, 1800, 1800, $454. So depending on how long it takes you to grind and, you know, develop these Axies to where they are, you put them on the marketplace, and yeah, they're worth a pretty decent value here, which is pretty ridiculous. Actually, it's a lot more than I would have thought. And if we come over, let's switch over to the lands. So land is like a newer thing you get into this, but you look at your land values of what they're being sold for. $7,061, $7,000. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is all for playing a very simple game where you essentially, you know, it's simple turn-based strategy in a way. I mean, you create your characters, they kind of create themselves by the systems in the game, and then they battle. You don't you're not hitting buttons to combo. It's not like playing Mortal Kombat. Your direct control is very like leisure, but yet you're earning all this. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I'd suggest anyone who is into games like this, yeah, start with AXS, or if you're into that sort of investment, let's go there. But let's jump out of the gaming platform.
Cipher, before you jump out of that, I wanted to point out, I was noticing as you were showing that it was set on, that's lowest price.
Yeah.
For everything. It's starting, those are the lowest, bro. 181 is the lowest price.
Yeah, it's so that's another great indicator that you're pointing out there. Yeah, that's the thing. It's absolutely ridiculous what this marketplace holds. So granted, when you do start the game, for all new users beware, it is required you have at least 3 AXS. I haven't done it myself, so there may be some simple user startup where these things have to basically grow into what they are. But once you have a full-grown AXS, yeah, they're worth money. They have a decent value. So
I'm amazed how much the land is worth. That's really cool, because that kind of coincides with like augmented reality and projects like Decentraland. I think that's like really cool. That's like really amazing that is that set at lowest prices as well? Is that starting? Oh, go to highest. Let's see.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to see.
Let's go to our highest plot and see.
Oh my goodness. Does that say 181 trillion? Billion. 181 billion.
Wait, let's
I'm gonna
zoom
leave
in
that
here.
up to the reader. But yeah, basically it does. So I don't really know the whole deal with that. But either way, yeah, here's these plots are all worth a little over $1 million.
Those are in the millions.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
So, I want to be an AXS real estate agent.
Right.
Yeah, dude.
Making the money on each flip.
I mean, these things will all help set the foundation for what Decentraland and these casinos and these virtual, basically plots of land that any of us at some point are going to be able to purchase. I imagine somebody wants this to get to a basically giant interface, just like any platform where everyone signs up and then it's as deep as you want to take it at that point.
That was wild. I'm sorry for bringing you back to that. It blew my mind.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. Actually, I'm stoked I went and looked at that price, because real quickly, let's just check these since we're right here. Let's go highest price. See what the top AXS are selling for, why not? Oh.
Infinity.
Yeah. So who even knows if these are being sold? But yeah, that's
wow.
I'm not even sure what to think about that.
Yeah, no kidding.
But yeah, so that's why these have a huge community. But yeah, let's step out of here. Actually, I was going to jump into some actual news about a little bit more off the charts here. So let's go check out Big Daddy Grayscale. Who we got here? Grayscale launches a DeFi fund for institutions. And that'd be the key word for me, is institutions, because like we heard what was pointed out earlier, we're having a lot of positive signals on the institutionals just coming in with regulations. So we're going to see these things. So Grayscale launching a fund on the emerging decentralized finance sector. So this is a pretty cool article. They kind of just dig into why they're positive on basically doing something like that. The fund is Grayscale's 15th investment offering and second diversified fund, which it runs another diversified fund called the Digital Large Cap Fund, which was recently approved to become a SEC or SEC, depending on what you want to say, reporting company. But yeah, so these guys are huge movers, in my personal opinion, as far as just kind of, in a way, already being like a big institution that's in the crypto world without the actual regulation. But if anyone's invested into these guys, they just play with your money. So they basically follow what a regulation would in a sense. But yeah, so this is a good article, kind of breaks down the DeFi space has been hit hard by market's downturn in recent weeks. Many tokens have been trading 70% off their highs since prices plummeted midway. Nonetheless, with over 55 billion locked in DeFi protocols on Ethereum, the fast-growing space has shown early promise. So Grayscale is a behemoth in the crypto space, holding more than 650,000 Bitcoin under management. Which is best known for its GBTC product, which that's basically what you get when you invest with these guys. But so here we got, they're hoping to convert that into an ETF they're working with these guys, BNY Mellon, huge, probably one of the oldest financial institutions around. But so being this, let's go here, convert GBTC into a Bitcoin ETF. We skip up
real quick. What is a ETF, Chris?
Exchange Traded Fund.
Awesome.
So we're going to kind of go into what they're trying to do here and what that means to them. So yeah, so this article literally is fresh off the other one I was just reading. So these guys they're moving fast, or they're at least putting it out there. They are. But so Grayscale 100% committed to turning their GBTC, I guess you can say Grayscale Bitcoin, into a Bitcoin ETF. So this is a quick article. Let's just actually go through it. Bitcoin is just a couple of points off maturation away from getting an approved ETF in the US, says Grayscale CEO. CEO is this dude, Sonen Shine. But in any case, the head of crypto investment giant Grayscale believes that only a couple maturation points separate the United States from its first Bitcoin ETF, or exchange traded fund. And this guy had a whole interview already on CNBC where he's openly talking about this. So this isn't just hidden somewhere for this article to pop up. Yeah, I mean, he's some of you might have already seen that. In any case, regulators currently have 13 ETF applications under consideration, and the US lags behind neighboring Canada when it comes to giving them the green light. Years of applications and rejections have gone by, and some believe that an ETF would ultimately create bearish price pressure for Bitcoin in the long term. So I'm sure there's certain people that may have not wanted to see these things happen, but things change, and we'll see what these guys are going to do about it. In any case, Grayscale CEO Sonen Shine says the firm is 100% committed to transforming its Bitcoin product, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, to ETFs once conditions are right. So, this is still a future prospect. They think of them, from our view of the world, they're really looking for a couple of different points of maturation in the underlying market, and that's really the final stages of what they think regulators need to approve with those types of products and give investors the protections that they're looking for. He hold the network. So last week, Grayscale announced a partnership with US banking giant BNY Mellon, which will now provide services for GBTC when it undergoes its metamorphosis. So this is happening. We don't know exactly when, but this is all happening. GBTC is already in the headlines in crypto circles over its unlocking events, the largest of which occurred Sunday, with opinions mixed over their potential price impacts. So, and just to follow along with that happening on the institutional side, institutional advances continue to surface this month, despite low volumes and overall lack of direction on the market. As reported, Bank of America, BOA, reportedly gave the green light for Bitcoin futures trading last week. So there's a little more to be said with that even, who is actually privy completely to the futures trading. But being that Bank of America is green lighting it, I don't know. There's definitely a lot of big institutional stuff moving right on through with this. And I don't think the market crashes or manipulations, depending on what perspective you're looking at, are a coincidence for how much these institutions are able to buy in on. And got some other cool articles here that this will all lead you to. But yeah, that was kind of what I wanted to talk about with that. As far as the markets are going, for anyone into stocks, I'd say people are treading carefully there too. I've noticed their memes have done a pump where I've been watching it for a while. I've seen GameStop do this a few times now, then it kind of falls flat. AMC jumped right on that train. A lot of people made a lot of money, and then a lot of shorts came, and now it's seeming to drop ever so. So yeah, I don't know. All I can say is for any market traders out there, may the market be with you, and just tread carefully. But I think my colleagues are gonna elaborate a little bit more on a few of
Yeah,
the
so
here.
I'd like to elaborate on what you're saying about how much money was locked up in DeFi. Over here on DeFi Pulse, we can see that that number you were talking about is pretty accurate. But the more important thing is actually looking over at this linear chart. You can see that we topped out. Let me zoom in for you guys here. 1 second, fam. All right, so we can see that we topped out close to the 90 billion, and then we kind of plateaued. Like the top of the recent local all-time high was around this 85. So we've only came down around 30 billion. So that's less than 50%. And if you come over here to the total two, the screen on my right, you can see that the total two, which is the actual altcoin market, including Ethereum, fell around 56%. So you can see that money being locked up in DeFi is actually really positive in that it's staying stronger than the actual value of the market. So this is really, really cool. I just wanted to touch on that really quickly before I jumped into some Binance news. So Binance just yesterday burned $4 million in BNB as regulators circle them like sharks. I don't know how they're feeling, but if I was them, I would be a little worried considering how many regulators have been going at them from all angles. So anyway, like I said, they announced that they burned their 16th quarterly BNB token burn. So that was about 1.3 million BNB tokens, around $400,000 at the time of the announcement. So what we can see is this is their second biggest burn in history. Up back in April, they burned around $6 billion worth of BNB, which is pretty huge. So right now you can see CZ, he's the CEO of Binance. If you're not familiar, he tweeted, "Imagine burning a $500 million. Wait, don't imagine it's real." So you could see this happen right over here on Whale Alert. That's a really good Telegram or Twitter account to follow if you're not already. So basically, why do they do this? It's because this creates scarcity and brings down the supply, which hopefully increases demand, and price correlates with that. So in its original white paper, BNB said that it would pledge to burn 20% of its quarterly profits. So just recently, they actually removed that statement from their white paper, arguing that following legal advice, they were advised to take it out. So they say that they'll be burning the same amount. So CZ seems to be very, very true to that. He tweets very frequently. But what I wanted to talk about is 16 million. You're wondering where that extra 100K is, and oops, sorry about that. 16 million of these BNB tokens moved to a team address. So this is something to kind of keep an eye on. They also said they haven't sold a single BNB, they haven't sold any. So like I said, there's all kinds of regulators circling them. UK banned their futures trading company, which is a separate umbrella entity under the whole Binance umbrella. So that's kind of what I wanted to touch on a little bit. CZ also tweeted on July 7th, I believe a well-developed legal and regulatory framework in long term will be a solid foundation that truly makes crypto essential in everyone's daily life. So I agree with this statement, because this is how we get people to have more faith and believe in crypto is not just a fad, that it's here to stay. So this to me is positive. And with that being said, I wanted to actually just jump into the BNB chart. And we could see that this huge, when we zoom out, kind of big head right here, got a shoulder, and this shoulder happening. So anticipating any sort of market drawdown, which it kind of looks like, according to Al's charts, that we're going to see that. So over here on the 12-hour chart, we have placed a few buy zones, and these basically go off of last support resistance zones. So our first buy zone be around the nice fun number of 222, all the way down about like 199. And then our second buy zone, which will smash on top of the second last support, which will vary from around 155 to, honestly, you could come back down here to 125. So we got about a $25, $30 difference there. So this is something I think you guys should be looking at. This is something we're looking at. This is a great project. These exchange tokens are very valuable. So, and I wanted to jump into the gold chart, because last night, as we were doing technical analysis, we saw that gold created this death cross right here. And that is when you see the 50 EMA, which is this yellow line, cross down below the 200 moving average, which is this red line. So this is a very bullish pattern that formed. And what we're also watching is for a cross here on the 1 hour. So we have it on the 30-minute. And when crypto hit the 12-hour death cross and 1 day death cross, we saw a pretty nasty sell-off. It wasn't instantaneous, but it did eventually sell off. Kind of like here, we see had the death cross happen, we saw the drop off, but then we saw the liquidity build back up just to drop back down. So this is something that we're paying attention to, because money flowing in and out of assets is something that we track and is very important. So speaking of assets, let's talk about some stocks a little bit. I'm sure you guys have heard the Pelosi family has invested millions in 4 huge tech stocks: Apple, Amazon, Tesla, and a few others. So this is something we wanted to bring to your attention. This is something we're paying attention closely to, because these are the people with the insight. They know what's going on. They have the government insight. So, of course, the Pelosi family has purchased $11 million worth of stocks and $11 million worth of mega cap tech stocks in May and June. So these are basically positions that they put in. They put in call positions on these 4 stocks. And this breaks down how much money into each one. But most important, something that nobody's talking about, is the expiration date of these options. So this is June 17th, 2022. And you can tell that they have orders set down pretty low, like up here on their alphabet, which is Google. They put in a strike price of $1,200, with, at the time of this article, was trading around $2,500. So they obviously see a market tank coming. This is kind of something that the technicals are pointing to. You know, smart people say, follow what the rich do. And that will kind of lead you down a path of positivity. So with that being said, I wanted to hand the spotlight over to Al, because he's got some really great info on the stock charts.
Yeah, I just wanted to show just an overall summary of the S&P 500. And right here, I tried to give us a little preliminary breakdown. So the arrows going downwards are when we drop below our 100 EMA or our estimated moving average, and the arrows going up are when we only dropped to the 50 EMA and found support. So as we come in here, we can see that we oftentimes use the 50 EMA as support. So every now and then we'll fall down. And mind you, we're back in 2018 here. So you go from 2018 to now, and you'll notice that we've been using the 50 EMA as support. Oh, my apologies. So right here, you can see 1, 2, arguably 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times we have found support from the 50 EMA. So we're anticipating it to find support, but in the back of everyone's head, like Jake said earlier, it seems like the general consensus is to be prepared for some kind of event, some sort of event, whether that's a flash crash, manipulation, FUD, something. But right here, I just wanted to look at what would the worst case scenario be. And you can see in our crash of last March, the COVID crash, we went down around 35%. So that was pretty brutal. And that's about as brutal as I think we could anticipate or should anticipate. So what would that look like for the S&P? Well, that would look like this. And that would kind of drop us down to about 2,800, 2,815. So that's kind of a worst case scenario. It's interesting to see the stocks really correlate to what the crypto market's doing. It seems like this is an economic stagnant position that we're in. And really, I think everyone can see that there's obviously more red than green. And we're looking forward to swimming out of this sea of red and into greener pastures. But that just isn't here yet. And so all fun aside, the real question is, how long can we float? We may need to float for a couple minutes, for a week, a month, a couple months. That's really the question. And, you know, we are all anticipating a flash crash. And I think that that's really the general consensus, is we all see a head and shoulders formation forming throughout. We're all looking at fib levels that kind of need to be tested out. And we're anticipating some sort of flash crash. And with that being said, we're spending our time preparing to capitalize on this flash event. And this is obviously not financial advice, because we are not financial advisors. But our goal is to share with you what moves and trades we're looking to make and how we're going to time this crash in order to get the best entry, because it doesn't have to be a negative event. It could be the best buying opportunity that you could dream of if you know how to use it in your favor. And that's the point of these streams and these charts, and trying to show people these price points that are lower than they are. I can imagine someone new to the space being confused, like, well, why would I want to buy something that's dropping in price? And it's like, well, because that's how you make money. You buy assets that are undervalued and you sell assets that are oversold. And right now, I don't think anything's oversold. So it's safe to start looking at what's the most undervalued, what's going to have the most overvalue in the nearest future, and how to acquire that asset. And that's really, you know, I think that's our goal for the people, and what we're here to help. And if there's any aspect of that we're not covering, please let us know in the comments below, or shoot us a DM, or somehow let us know what we can provide for you, because this could be a brilliant opportunity to have generational wealth in the period of a year or two, if timed accordingly, and if we go through the adoption phase.
Yeah, and if you don't let your emotions get the best of you, and that's why I think people have such a hard time buying right now, is because they see the market is tanked so far down. They're like, oh my God, why would I get in now? That just sounds dumb. But talking to people in the last bull run cycle, those are the people that are made millions this run. And when Bitcoin hit 60,000, they didn't even need it to hit 100K. They made their millions when it hit 60 to 65 because they held through the last bear cycle. They kept accumulating at the $3,000 to $8,000 range. And then when it went up to 60K, lo and behold, you made hundreds of percents in gains. So it's kind of, if you can let your emotions sit on the sidelines and make smart technical moves, then
So
you're going to set yourself up.
to give people a visual on that statement exactly, this is what happens when you look too closely at things. You see this chart and you think, oh no. And we're looking at Bitcoin on day candles. The moment you zoom out and you look at a chart and a healthier trajectory, you start feeling really good about it. And it's like, oh man, that thing has just been moving up the whole time. I mean, what this consolidation is actually nothing. And even if it does do a full bear consolidation, it's still only on an upward trajectory. And so, yeah, I think that you make a brilliant point that a lot of us are stuck in the now and the immediate. But if you zoom out, you'll see how generational wealth is made.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's just being patient. That's a part of it. Nobody makes millions overnight. It's a process. It takes patience. So I wanted to actually show the fam, unless you got something to show.
No, take it over, my dude.
All right, I wanted to touch on this dollar chart because we talking about all these asset classes that are looking bearish. Well, the one thing actually looking a little bullish at the moment is the dollar index. And as you can see right here, this red line again is our 200 moving average. This yellow line is our 50. So what we could possibly see is a breakout into what's known as a golden cross. So when those two cross, something like this and probably something like that, and we see this start to break out of its channel and hit support and start to build, then we know that money's flowing out of assets like gold, the stock market, and Bitcoin. So with that knowledge, with knowing that, that's when you know that it's time to get your orders ready and to sit and wait and be patient to make the millions. So that's all I really wanted to touch on, Al. I think we're about 52 minutes on this live stream, so probably get wrapping her up pretty soon. All right, so we really appreciate you guys stopping by. Hit the like, subscribe if you haven't already. Join our Telegram group. We have all kinds of great people in there giving wealth of knowledge. If you're interested in learning any more strategies and like to get a little more personal, check out our c3crypto.com website and we can help you out with that. And with that being said, fam, remember, don't let your emotions get the best of you, and always stay cool,
calm,
and collected. All right, Al, we got a little technical issue. That's all right. All right, fam. That's it. We're done rambling.
over and out.